It's gonna get hectic.
Hi, this is Dan Formless for the show London, coming from the International Radio Festival in Zurich, the 4th year this has been going on, and very pleased to say we're joined by Derrick May and Normski, who has managed to get him down here before he flies off.
Black Samurai.
Ninja! So where are you flying off to now?
I have to go to Croatia, and I'm going to play a festival there called Dimensions.
Looking forward to it?
Yes.
How did you find last night? You played for the International Radio Festival last night for the opening party.
It was fun. I had a good time. I mean, come on. I'm playing for people that appreciate the music, understand what the cause and what the meaning of it is. We're trying to build a bigger and better thing in the right way. It's not easy. It's a business, but you don't want to remind the audience that it's a business. You want to do it so that it means something. It's for something. Normski's here for the same reasons. We all have our sort of mission and goal, but the most important thing is, over all the other business and all the other things, is the music. And sometimes that gets forgotten in all of this. You understand what I mean?
I do, and at one point last night, you cut the music and you shouted out, I love my
job.
What did you say?
I love my job.
And how do you stay loving your job I mean, you've been in this game a while.
I never get high on my own supply. Seriously. That means that I don't listen to dance music when I'm not playing it.
Can you give us an idea of what you do listen to?
Oh, anything but dance music. I could do jazz, ambient music. I can do anything, alternative rock, whatever the case is. You know, I'm doing other music. There's so much music out there. It's so boring to get caught up into just one genre of music when you've got hundreds.
So that's your source of inspiration? Do you have other sources of inspiration?
That's not a source of inspiration. That's just a source of relief.
Okay.
You know, and that's just a source of relaxation. Inspiration, you know, it comes from life itself. My daughter, she's 9 years old, watching her grow up, being around friends from back in the day, just taking some minutes and breathing. I mean, you can find inspiration in a lot of different things. You know what I mean?
You're saying you love your job, and I want to know, what is it exactly that you love about your job, Derrick May?
Ha-ha! What do I love about my job? What can't you love about this fucking job? I mean, I get to travel the world. I get to play music for people. I get to pretty much say yes and no to whatever I want to do. I wake up when I want. I go to bed when I want. No one controls or tells me how to live my life. And then at the end of the day, I'm happy with it. You know, I choose and sort of determine the results of what happens in the evening. I decide if I'm going to put up a strong effort, if I'm going to put up a great effort, if I'm going to put up no effort. I can't imagine not putting up no effort. I can't imagine not doing a great effort. I got to give it all I got.
Last night when you were mixing, you were DJing, and you do some incredible stuff with the equipment live whilst you're doing it. You said to me, I can't believe it. You know, I was at the beginning and I'm at the end. And I said to you, there is no end. And what did you mean by you were there at the beginning and at the end?
Yeah, good point. I just meant that I was there when it all first took off. The first days of house music, the first days of the Detroit techno scene, when there was nobody, when guys still were walking around with their records in milk crate boxes. There was no DJ traveling international. There was no such thing. There was no big money. There was nothing. It was just, you know, it was a club, and it was a guy that played records, and he was a local DJ, and he was the only information that people had about music. He was the source. He was the source. You know, he was it. That was the guy. And to watch it evolve into this international thing, and to see the music become cultivated and to become recultivated in different countries, every single country having their own variation of what they call techno, what they call house music. Wow, it's been amazing. And it's been kind of sad too to see that it's become many things, and some things have been horrible. That's the business side of it. So that's what I meant when I said the beginning and the end. And hopefully there is no ending.
Yeah, is that just growing pains and then there's an evolution maybe? Or do you feel you have some control over where it's going to go?
No, you don't. We don't have control. All we can do is make sure that we set some standards. That's all we can do. We set the standards, we raise the bar, and that's all we can do. We can't to control it would mean you'd be killing it at this point, in my book.
Yeah, I hear that. And you're saying setting standards, of which I know that pretty much the world of dance music, real, and like just under one umbrella calling it dance, but from all versions of house, techno, and even experimental. Some of the things that you were doing last night are kind of your trade skills which you've acquired over the years. I remember the first time I ever met you was 1987 in Detroit. I believe it was in your little one bedroom apartment. It wasn't a studio, and I remember we walked in to do an interview and a photo shoot with you, and you were sat cross-legged on the floor with a Technics 12-inch and a TIAC quarter-inch reel-to-reel with a loop on it, and you were mixing like one vinyl with this loop. And then I remember standing there thinking, what are you doing? There was these reverse sounds and stuff. And yet again, last night, you're still doing this stuff, but you were playing music. Where would you say that some of those beats that you were playing are at now in comparison to where they've come from? Because it was a different style of techno last night.
Yeah, man.
How do you describe that?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm just cooking. I'm just cooking. Yeah. And I got a kitchen full of seasons. I got different things on the counter. I got a knife. I got a fork. I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to see what I can make. It's a jamboree, man. It is what it is. I do not think about what I'm doing. I do not consider it to be a style. It's just a thing, and it's a risk. It's a risk because it doesn't always work. The way I play can be a disaster, or it can work really well. I've learned to hone my trade well. I've realized don't push it. Normski is an amazing photographer from back in the day. A lot of people don't know that about him. His skill set is tremendous. And he utilizes that in all aspects of what he's doing now. Not just in the fact that he's maybe not a photographer like he used to be, but he uses that set of skills to be able to do other things. And that's all I'm doing. I'm a musician, I'm a DJ, and now I'm something else. I don't know what to call it.
Maybe a
creative. You're just being creative in whatever you do. You're being creative when you look at things, when you approach things. Bro. And I just wanted to point out to you. You see the T-shirt.
That was the Flavor Flav shot.
That's the one with his bag of clothes. That's it. That's it.
That was the same year we first met, 1987.
Wow.
Back in London.
And as we said, he did the iconic shots of Detroit techno artists. This guy flew to Detroit during the first release of the music that we did, the Virgin Techno, Detroit Techno House album.
That's right,
album. And he shot the photos for that. This is the guy. And I don't think they realized what it was to bring a black young photographer to meet us, but that was very important.
And both ways, because I was very much involved in the hip-hop stuff in the UK. We had our own sort of underground house movement that was happening in the Summer of Love and stuff like that. Was, a very kind of European thing. And up in the north, Hacienda and all these places that were already clued up with this sound. That was the underground sound coming really from between Chicago and the Detroit kind of sound. And for me, as a young photographer being sent, my goodness me, in those days to be sent on a gig like that to another country, I was quite overwhelmed and quite shocked at this powerhouse of creatives that were the kind of first generation Detroit techno pioneers, including yourself, Eddie
Kevin Saunderson, everybody. The ironic thing is that we had a connection to him. Unlike just a photographer comes in and does a shoot, we really felt we took it as a romantic brother, like our brother from another mother kind of thing. And that's always the way we treated everybody. So if you ever came to Detroit, still today, you would get a pretty much warm, open door policy from most of the artists there. We've always been like that. We've always had that kind of sort of way about ourselves. I like to believe we're good people, So to have somebody have something to say about us in a constructive way, on a creative level, is always a positive or a negative. Always a positive in our books. We're looking for that.
Radio. So now here we are, International Radio Festival. Last night you were really playing the launch party, the soundtrack for the launch party in your incredible way. But then also, I believe it's for BBC Radio 6. Are you doing stuff with radio? What do you think about radio now?
6 mix BBC 6, 6 mix BBC 6. I always get that wrong. I love doing that show. It's a cool show. I hope that we can branch off and do more things. I only do it every couple months, and I think it's really important. I think radio has lost its way, and I don't think it's so much at the demise of radio. I think it's the fact that many things. Generations have just slowly sort of walked away from it, laughing at Napster years ago, laughing at this years ago. Corporate heads getting too old, not you know, handing off the power way before it was too late. Yeah. And now look where we are now. You know, the old man held on to whoever he was. He held on too long. You know, he didn't pass it down to young creatives and keep it on the street, which is where it belongs. And that's why it's falling apart. And that's where it has to go back to. Otherwise, it will never, ever mean anything again. If it doesn't get back to the street, it will mean nothing. Guys, I got to go.
Thank you very much, Derrick May.
Well, you know, it was as though you had a voice connector going on, which is that you are controlling the power here at the Schloss Silberg. When Derrick May's mouth closes, the lights go off.
Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate your time.
Fuck y'all.
We love him.